welcome everybody. I am Yolanda Kwezimieza and I am your host for the evening. We'll smoothly be moving along within the next hour through our very second session of our AV program. Tonight, we are talking all about the psychology of engagement. Now, before we get into today's session, I really just want to take a second to acknowledge all of you and celebrate the wonderful, wonderful response that we have gotten for this program. Just a quick reminder, everyone that was here is here for a reason. All of you were specifically handpicked to be a part of this. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that is absolutely phenomenal. I think that makes everything extra special to know that everyone that is here, that is with us, is not here by mistake, but here for a reason. While we're on that note, I also want to commend all of you for the collaborative work that we're seeing on the WhatsApp community. Guys, it's still so very early in the program, but already you guys have come together and rallied together so beautifully. And I really do find it so inspiring, the way that you're all interacting, sharing with each other, challenging each other, pushing each other. Beautiful stuff. I think that that's what it really is all about for us as creatives, to come together, collaborate, and grow together. So shout out to all of you. Now, last week, we had our very first masterclass all about ideation. We had our first creator challenge, as well as the first baseline survey. It was all a lot, but we pushed through. Tonight, we have a jam-packed schedule, so let's just get right into it. We are very lucky. Today, we have 3 speakers instead of 2. Our very first speaker is Ms. Mashendri Padiachi. Ms. Mashendri Padiachi is from the CIPC. When we think of the CIPC, let's think about it as South Africa's official vault for registering businesses as well as protecting intellectual property. So she'll be talking to us all about that. Our second speaker is Kyla Boyson. When we think of Kyla, we look at somebody who pulls back the curtain on almost 10 years of strategic innovation, from high-impact campaigns to the apps and the content shaping the future of our industry. And last but certainly not least, we know him, we love him. We see him so often now that he's officially a household name, our Google Master, Mr. Sipho Mthombeni. Right, after our 3 beautiful speakers, we do have our creator challenge for today that we'll be talking through. And then should we have enough time, hopefully we will go through a quick Q&A and then we part ways. They say that a messy desk, right, in general, generalizing here, means a creative mind, but that is absolutely not the case for me. A messy desk means absolutely nothing is about to be done. So let's tidy up and get a bit into some housekeeping rules. Right, so this is our schedule. This looks at what we can expect, all of us, every single week until the end of our program. So if you're a bit confused, if you want some clarification of where we are, this is it. This is what we are working with. All right, so we have received a number of questions and there has been a bit of repetition here and there. So we decided to create a document, our FAQ document, that answers most of the questions that we were getting, or rather a lot of the repetitive questions. Should you have any questions, please do look at this document. It has been shared on WhatsApp and will also be entering your email inboxes not too far from now. If you have any questions, look at that, and hopefully your question will be answered. Okay, cool. Right. So we do have a poll that we're running. We hear you. We know that navigating the tech side of things hasn't been completely smooth sailing, and we want to make sure that nobody is left behind because your progress matters to us. So to help you get unstuck, we are running a special, right? We are running a special virtual drop-in office hours. Okay. Sorry, I'm confusing myself a bit here. Before I get into that, we are running a poll here, right here in our chat. If you find your tools, the same that we did with our Q&A session last week, you will find a poll there. I'm just trying to open it so I can talk you through it. And our poll tonight says, have you experienced any technical or program-related challenges? Please vote there, yes or no. I see that already we have quite a lot of no's and only one yes. So yes, please do vote there. Let us know how you're feeling and how you're finding everything. All right, so we have created these virtual drop-in hours as I was discussing. Should you have any issues, if you are needing a bit of assistance, please do take advantage of this on Thursday morning. In the morning, we'll have a session between 9 and 10 a.m. And then we'll have a second session from 12 to 1 p.m. If you're fighting with the voucher redemption, we just need some clarity about something within our program, come hang out. The SEM team will definitely help you up. Just a quick disclaimer, you are not dealing with IT wizards, right? But it is a very helpful team that will definitely sort you out and will guide you step by step through whatever that you need assistance with. Okay. A lot of engagement on this poll. Very interesting. Glad to see that most people are not having issues. Okay, now let's talk about unlocking those those Google AI subscriptions rather. Right. 3 points here. If you have attended a session, you've completed the quiz, and you have completed your baseline survey, then you are good to go. This is exactly how it's all going to be rolling out, right? For those creators who are eligible, then tomorrow in your inbox, you are going to receive an email that has a unique 16-digit code. And then from there, you will follow the blueprint and it will take you step by step through what needs to be done. Along with the email will be these details, as I'm saying, that will clarify everything for you. Please use them to avoid any redemption hiccups. If you want to know more about this, stay tuned until the end of the session and we'll talk about it in further detail. That leads me to our WhatsApp community. The energy there in the WhatsApp community, absolutely amazing, popping, active, so exciting, keeps us wanting to come back for the next session. But we did hear your feedback with so much amazing conversation happening. I do know that we do acknowledge rather that a lot of the important stuff is getting lost in the hype and the excitement there, right? So to keep your AI Amplify experience running smooth, running organized, we've decided to split our WhatsApp into two very clear, very distinct spaces that will have different vibes going on. On the one side, we have the community chat. This is still your space. All right, you'll keep chatting, you'll keep networking with one another, sharing your prompts, your questions, all of that. And then the second group is the announcements group. So we've decided to have this brand new, very more quiet channel. We're only going to use this to give you guys updates, deadlines, webinars, recordings, all of that. So we're all still one family. We're all still together. We're still in this together. It's just to avoid the busyness and avoid all the important stuff getting lost within our chats. All right, are we clear? Okay, I'm glad that we are all on the same page. While we're still on the topic of WhatsApp, I do want to give a creator shout out. We have 3 creators who are so talented and have used Gemini already to create some really, really cool stuff. The first creator, Kosiam, I really hope that I'm saying this correctly. And if I'm not, please do forgive me. The first creator is Mardoquero Dimbu. The second one is Unozipho Portia Mbambo, as well as Bongo Buhle Stabile Mwanda. Guys, absolutely amazing work. Love to see the program being implemented in real time. You guys said we are not waiting for graduation. We are using our program already. I love that. And then I also want to give another shout out to these other creators who have used our program as well so far. NotebookLM, as well as Tsepi. So these creators used our program, and then they gave us a shout out on the socials using our hashtag AI Amplify and hashtag AV Program 2026. If you are posting, if you are sharing all about this, we want to be a part of that. Include us, tag us, mention us. This is exciting, not just for you, but to us as well. We want to see all the work that you guys are doing so far. All right, absolutely amazing stuff. Okay, now we have done all the housekeeping. Time for us to get into our program, into the good stuff. I want to introduce our very first speaker for tonight, Ms. Mashendri Padiachi. She is a senior copyright specialist at the Companies and Intellectual Property Commission, or rather the CIPC, with 15 years in government and a background as an admitted attorney of the High Court. She is a leading authority on intellectual property law and policy here in South Africa. Her impressive portfolio includes drafting the 2013 intellectual property policy, steering critical legislation like the Copyright Amendment Bill through Parliament, and negotiating IP protocols for the African Continental Free Trade Area. She's also been instrumental in safeguarding intellectual property for major global events. It sounds to me here like we have a real girl boss. Ms. Padiachi, please take it away.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for the love. I'm so honored to be here today. So let's kick in. I'm going to be doing a presentation on copyright. My details are there, and I will ask the organizers to share this presentation with you. Next slide, please. So I'm here to give you a very quick overview on what intellectual property is and how copyright fits into this big domain or words that you see. So I like to use that picture just to capture the ideas that you as creators conceive and conceptualize. So that is what intellectual property is. It refers to those creations of your mind. We have inventions, innovations, books, symbols, all of that. And what does those things or creations give you? It confers an exclusive right. So I've highlighted the words. Just remember, exclusive right to you as the creator. That allows you to do certain things with your creations and your work, or it allows you to give others permission on how to use your work, whether they can make a copy, etc. So intellectual property, we have two categories: industrial property, which is your patents, that's your inventions, medicines, designs, and trademarks, which is your branding that you will also dive into. And then we have copyright, which is this big domain, and it stands on its own standing because it's really about how to reward you and how to incentivize you as creators of content, especially on digital platforms. We know that as consumers, we are consuming a lot on the digital platforms. And obviously, what everyone loves to hear is how to monetize what you have created. Next slide, please. So I'm here to tell you how do you qualify for that copyright protection, and it's very easy. That's why it's one of my favorite domains. I'm quite biased. So the Copyright Act has been drafted in a very clever manner. We usually use these big words when we do education and awareness, and we say it's a formalities free. That simply means that you do not have to register copyright with the CIPC, unlike the other domains I've mentioned. So a patent or a trademark or design, you do have to pay a fee and register that form of IP at the CIPC. But copyright, once you've created your work and it is original, you've reduced it to material form. In other words, you have a book, a song, a movie, you are automatically protected under the Copyright Act. I do have to say, though, that ideas are not protected by any form of IP. So make sure your creations are in some sort of tangible form. Movies, scripts, whatever, just get it down into writing. That will also be your proof. And then just some technicalities. You have to be a qualified person, meaning living in South Africa, a resident of South Africa, and our mother treaty known as the Berne Convention. Any country that is a member of the Berne Convention qualifies for copyright protection in South Africa. Also, unlike our other domains that I've mentioned, copyright protection is for a very, very long time. Basically, it's your entire lifetime and 50 years after the publication date. The Act does specify, but just walk away knowing that it is protected for a very long time. And then I've just listed the types of works that copyright protects: sound recordings, musical works, artistic works, films. That also covers now audiovisual representations, broadcasts. If you're very old, like I am, you know about program carrying signals, published editions, and computer programs. So going back to my first point, you can see that copyright covers a large variety of products, and you need to just get this into your head that it's automatic protection, because if you don't understand the protection, how do you protect yourself on the market? So that's what I want to really have you walk away with, that it is automatic, provided it's original and in material form. Next slide, please. Now, how does the CIPC fit into this whole area, and how can we help you? So as the CIPC, we host education and awareness campaigns. We do one-on-one sessions where possible. So my details were up there. If you ever need to really have us unpack what the entire value chain is of the copyright system, how to explore legal protection, because it does get very technical, just so that you know your rights. We take you through that. Again, registration is not necessary. Just some tips, and I know it's going to sound a bit old-fashioned, but sending yourself an email with your work where you do not open that email is a way of proving your work. And we've all seen it. You just have to open up any book. Copyright reserved, I like to say the copyright sign is like the cell C sign, and you just say all rights reserved and the year. For example, if you have a poem today, you would just put in all rights reserved, copyright sign 2026. And there is a simple way of you protecting your work, sorry, and taking those steps. And again, just remember, it must be original. I know the word copy is in the word, and a big part of copyright and that legal protection is to protect you from others using your work without permission and copying it and spreading it. We've all seen back in the day the DVDs on the streets, and now with digital, it's even more important that you take the necessary care. If you protect your work, you can monetize your work. And you just need to, create, and not fear creating, because the law does protect you. So I said you don't need to register copyright at the CIPC. There is one exception, and that is for a film. And why we introduced that is because the industry is slightly complex, and there were a lot of arguments. You can imagine they're big players. You have a broadcaster, the person funding the film, the performer. So registering your film is a good way of clearing out those muddy waters, so that we know who created the film, who participated, etc. So that's the only exception to copyright where we register. Next slide, please. I'm done. That's it. I hope I summarized really quickly, and that gives us a little bit more time. I don't have time for questions. I know I will get some, but just to say thank you very much, and just always remember that copyright is there to protect and incentivize a creator. It is there for many works, and also don't forget about Indigenous works. Your culture is also important, and in the legislative framework that we operate in, we also look at how intellectual property can protect your Indigenous and important cultural works. Thank you very much, everybody, and I look forward to seeing your copyright works out there on the market very soon.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ms. Pariachi. Can we give her some love? That was absolutely amazing. Bringing us very valuable points, because what is the point of putting in all this work if someone can just come in and swoop it all away? The importance of protecting your work. Thank you so much for that. All right, our second speaker of the evening is Kyla Boyson. She is a powerhouse in the digital space, right? She's from special effects media with almost a decade of experience. She specializes in driving strategic results through social media, through apps, through the web, as well as content innovation. She's a true leader in digital project management. Kyla is here to share her passion for creating content that truly resonates. Please, everyone, give a warm welcome to Kyla Boyson.
Thank you so much for that amazing intro. I feel like I've got a lot to live up to. So like you've just hyped me up so much. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm super excited to talk about this. I love a good content piece, and I know that like the battle for attention out there is brutal. So tonight we're really going to dive straight into how to structurally engineer your videos so that you get viewers to stick around from the first second all the way to the last. So I'm going to start with a statement that retention is a science, it is not luck. So I say that because often we creators will launch a video, they'll look at the analytics and they'll say, whoa, this video performed so well and I'm so lucky. And I'm telling you right now, it isn't luck, it isn't good fortune. When a viewer clicks away, is until the end of a video, they are reacting to a predictable human psychology. So every frame, every audio transition, every sentence that you write is either feeding into that your brain's desire to keep watching, or it's giving them a reason to swipe or click away. So our jobs is to understand exactly why our viewers stay or leave so that we can actually intentionally create content that is structured to and designed to retain them. That brings me to the most critical part of the video, is the first 3 to 8 seconds. And this is the absolute make or break zone where your audience actually just generally decides your fate. So there are 3 golden rules that I like to do when we are creating a successful hook for content. Firstly, ditch the resume. This is going to sound super, super harsh, but the absolute fastest way to kill your retention is to open up by saying, hi, my name's I'm this person and I have this experience and here's my company logo and here's my dog. No one is interested in your life story. It sounds so harsh. They don't care about who you are at that point. They just want to know, and they're asking themselves a subconscious, selfish question of what is in it for me with watching this content? What am I actually going to get out of this if I watch this? And your intro essentially needs to answer to that immediately. The second part is that sparking that curiosity. So the sparking the curiosity means giving your brain that psychological loop that it desperately wants to close. So saying something that your audience is going to say, flip, I really want to figure out what you mean by this, or I need to understand why you're saying these things. So you can do by adding a bold statement, by having a compelling question or an emotional trigger right away to make them ask, so will this be entertaining and engaging, and will it actually answer my questions after I've watched this video? And lastly, this kind of ties in with the first point of the resume, but it's all about the instant value delivery. Apologies. So if someone is busy searching for a specific answer, or they're looking for a specific type of video that they want to watch, and they stumble upon your content, you have to get to the point to be able to lock them in so they watch the rest of the video. So if you aren't getting to the point, they're going to leave immediately and they won't give you the time of day. So you need to tell them exactly what value they're going to get out of this, so that you have to be direct about that. If you start really slow and off topic, instead of actually focusing on the actual topic that you've promised them in the title description, it's going to confuse people and they're going to eventually drop off. So now you can have a combination of the curiosity and being direct, and these two actually can go really well hand in hand. So for example, if you open a video and you say something like, this is why something is dead, and you just have that bold statement, not only are you being direct about the purpose of the video that you're creating, but you're also sparking that curiosity where people are going to ask, flip, I want to understand why this topic is so interesting and why are you saying that? So they can work really well together. Obviously, it really depends on the topic that you're putting out there and what your key messaging is. So I know there was a bit of a truth bomb, and I'm sorry. But after you've hooked them, now what are we going to do to keep them? So you can introduce a little bit of after you've hooked them and you've got them engaged, give a little bit of I have these credentials, I'm this person that actually know what I'm talking about. And then you can go into the actual structure of your video. And then you need to ask the question of, how do I actually keep them after that point? And this is where creators get distracted by pretty shiny objects. And I'm here to tell you that you don't need the perfect lighting or a super over-the-top visual effects person that's editing things for you in a super expensive camera. Your structure is going to beat your creativity every single time. So the reason I say that is, think of the structure as the blueprint. The structure is the blueprint to your house, and the creativity is the paint and the decor that you put in after the fact. If the house is broken, or you've built the house on a broken foundation, it doesn't matter how beautiful you're going to make that house, it is going to collapse over time. So in video terms, if your script is not solid enough, if the flow of your video does not make sense, the audience is going to swipe away no matter how beautiful your content looks, because it doesn't make sense to them. So once that blueprint is flawless, then you can worry about the creative polish right at the end. And once again, even with a great script structure, the human brain can get incredibly lazy. So you can structure your videos to be super engaging and super like insightful, but your brain does get tired after some time, and it can start to feel a little bit predictable. So visual and audio rhythms like that stay the same consistently, and if you speak with a specific tone the whole time, the brain does tend to go on autopilot, and boredom does set in, and that's when people wonder or scroll away. And to prevent this, we use something called pattern interrupts. Now, these pattern interrupts are deliberate, calculated disruptions that are designed to shock your brain out of that autopilot state. Think of taking the brain on the shoulders and shaking and saying, wake up, you've just almost missed something, or you're about to miss something. That's what we want to do with these interrupts. So there are 3 different types we're going to be focusing on. And the first one being your tonal reset. So that's your audio contrast. That's everything to do with the actual speaking, to the music, to the sound effects. Those are, if you're speaking very steady or high-paced energy, and with music in the background, and then all of a sudden, if you're speaking, then all of a sudden there's silence, and you drop like a really interesting or impactful line that is going to make your brain completely reset and notice that sudden change in sound. It just snaps that attention back to the screen so that they can actually see what has just happened, and I need to pay attention to this. And that's the tonal resets that we're looking at. And you can do this in so many different ways, changing your tone as you're speaking, adding different music when it gets to certain parts of the video where you want to potentially have like a really dramatic scene or really like exciting scene, or it's how you play around with that. But you can also use sound effects just to emphasize certain points of your big ideas. Secondly is your visual effects, which ties very nicely in with the audio effects. So if you're standing, if you just see a screen, you see me on the screen for 5 to 10 to 20 minutes straight, you are going to get bored and you're going to swipe away. Even if I've got all this pretty stuff behind me, it's not enough to keep you guys engaged for that long. So we want to break it up with B-roll. We want to break it up with really interesting content that you can fit throughout your videos that's going to keep your audience entertained and keep them watching. Okay, so think about it as, I'm talking to you about dogs. I'm going to show a dog. I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And you can also do really cool, fun things, like you can have a really well-timed meme or GIF that's just going to land a point so perfectly. So incorporate your humor. That is going to help quite a bit as well. And lastly is just the surprise audiences with those unexpected drops. So it does kind of tie in with the tonal and the visual, but the unexpected drops is more talking about the script specifically. So if you're all of a sudden have a pivot in your script, or like a really sharp pivot that just disrupts and changes the whole content flow, like more or less, like let's say in the middle of the video, that can be something that's also going to just wake up the person's brain to think, okay, wait, did I miss something? And then you're going to want to rewind and make sure you're actually on the same page. And this is you can also do things like crack a joke, drop a really interesting insight, or throw out something so mind-blowing that people are just invested. And this is where you're throwing that brain off balance to keep it really engaged. Part of the humor side of things, and I mean, we as South Africans, and I feel like in Africa as a whole, we have got some like really awesome like local spiciness, and I like it. So do not lose that. we've spoken about how to draw your audiences in. We've spoken about how to keep them. And now, what do you do with your local advantage? Like, is it even a thing? And I'm pretty much here to tell you, yes, it is. So keep it as it's a must-have with your content. It's definitely not a limitation at all. Because as creators and media professionals, it's so easy for us to just say, maybe I need to copy that multi-million-dollar channel because maybe I'll become big like them. And that's not going to help you if you're using your cultural relevance as a geographical limitation. So think about the psychology of this, right? A massive global media engine can buy the most expensive effects in the world, but they cannot actually replicate our highly specific South African cultural references. They don't understand our humor. They don't understand our day-to-day experiences. They don't understand what is going to make you guys laugh or nod at my jokes or my comments, because you just understand and get what I'm saying. And when you lean heavily into that authentic, hyper-local content, you're building that immediate intimacy with your audience that the global content just simply, they cannot replicate or match that energy. So I'm telling you 100%, do not run away from your local flavor. Double down on it. It will make a difference. So now I'm going to ask you're probably asking, how do I use AI to actually improve my content with all of this? And I have 3 simple ways that you can use AI to actually engineer your videos to make it better. So firstly is to engineer your hooks. Ask Gemini to engineer and generate multiple hook variations based on emotional entry points. So let's just say you will take your ideal topic, you'll feed it into Gemini and say, give me a hook idea that is going to shock someone, that is going to drive curiosity, that is going to make a sense of urgency. Ask Gemini to give you a couple of examples, and then you can 100% use that as a benchmark or a platform to be able to build your ideas on it further. So it's obviously going to be based on the type of content or messaging that you're putting out there, but it's a nice menu for you to pick from. A little bit of a buffet of ideas, if I could say so. And then you can adapt your content from there. Then you will go to your identifying your dead spots. So the nice thing is you can take your script and ask Gemini, where's my audience going to drop off? Is it too wordy? Is it repetitive? If you were seeing the script for the first time, Gemini, what do you think? And the nice thing is you can also ask Gemini to do this from a perspective of a specific audience. So if you want to trap me, you can just ask Gemini to please read the script as a millennial who games and likes techie things, and then highlight exactly where I would have dropped off. That is just going to help be the second pair of eyes that you need to point out those exact moments where your viewers are losing interest. And last but not least, the goal is not to let AI write the scripts for you. That is not the goal here. If you let AI write the script, it's going to sound very generic, and it's going to strip away your unique local human perspective. So you don't want to completely lose your audience, because they can pick that up. They can see when something has been generated by AI. They can see it. So instead, use Gemini as a structural editor. So you are giving the creative insights, but you're asking AI to stress test the structure of the script. So to wrap the presentation, I've said a lot. I've dropped truth bombs. I'm sorry if feelings are hurt, but it had to be said. I've created a little bit of a blueprint that you guys can use when you create your content moving forward. So always remember the hook. Ditch the resume, dive straight to the core question idea. What is the topic? Make them want to stay. Then look at the setup, land the purpose of the content. Why does this content actually matter? And what will they get out of it from watching your content? Then look at your resets, make use of pattern interrupts. Do I have your attention at all times to make sure that you are not going to drop off and leave me? And then lastly is just the payoff. You've promised to deliver a certain topic, a certain solution, a certain idea. Now, right at the end of the video, that's where you will actually fulfill it and give the audience exactly what they want. So when your ideas or videos will work through this blueprint, you stop hoping that people will watch, and you're actually giving them a structural reason to stay. So with that, you must always remember, guys, to stop writing scripts and rather start engineering them with AI. Thank you so much.
Yo, that was So much amazing information in a very, very short space of time. Kyla, thank you. You really were dropping gems. I saw someone in the chat say that you were dropping a lot of gems, dropping a lot of hard truths as well. Can you imagine putting so much work into your content only for someone to watch probably the first 4 seconds and just swipe past? There really is a science to all of this. And Kyla, thank you for putting it all into perspective for us. Okay, moving on to our third and final speaker of the evening. At this point, I think by now we all know his bio of by heart. Sipho Mtombeni is back to empower us even more and talk to us more about Google AI as well as Gemini. Sipho, welcome back.
Thank you, Yolanda. Good evening, everyone. So today I'm going to talk to you about 2 lovely tools that you can use to basically implement what Kyla has taught you today. So the first tool being NotebookLM. I hope you all have learned about NotebookLM, or at least have heard about it. So NotebookLM is really a tool that we've created at Google. It's an AI tool that allows us to be able to engage and do research, to engage with a lot of information, simplified in quite a good way. Somebody is unmuted. If you can please help with that. It's 10 minutes. Please mute. Team, are you on that? Great. Anyway, so NotebookLM. So here you can use this tool to process information, to be able to really to create and get information that you need. So as Kyla has said, the retention of audience is not a luck thing. It is a science.
I'm
I can hear properly.
so sorry to disturb you, Sipho. If you can
Please.
try and, yes, Tembi, so if you can please get your attention, hopefully. Thank you. He's muted. Sorry about that, Sipho.
That's fine. All right, so NotebookLM, tool for information gathering, for information dissemination, and for you to process loads of information. So the science in this, in trying to put together your script and get your hooks, etc., is actually using NotebookLM to be able to process information. So what I've done today, because leaning on the case study that I built on it last week, as you know, my page is the Backpack Hacker. I'm interested in cheap travel ideas in South Africa. So what I started to do and try to do now with NotebookLM is that I found an article that is talking about the domestic travel trends in South Africa. And this is going to help me to be able to kind of pick up on topics that I can, for instance, be looking at in my content, right? So I just put in one article. You can come in here, you add sources, you can add sources from the web or from research that you've done yourself. You can upload files, you can go to websites, YouTube videos, you can go to the drive or copy text and add it into the source. I've added a web page article that I've found here. And it generates a summary immediately of this article that I uploaded. Now, what can I do with this information? It even prompts me and gives me a few things. So I could ask it questions that I'm interested in. So here's some I suggested questions. What are the practical strategies to help secure cheaper domestic flights? It's going to look at the information that I provided. So it's going to look for answers only in the articles that I've uploaded. If you were to also to do this, you would also have to make sure that you're uploading information that is relevant. And it's giving me a few ideas here. So it's talking about midweek flights. It's talking about fly early in the morning. So as I'm thinking about some of my ideas for my page, I could be thinking about using one of these things because this is coming from research that has been done. There's a few things if you look on this side, which is called the studio. So I'm able to create an audio overview. I'm able to create a video overview. Let's see, I've created a video overview of the article where it's going to give me really just that, an overview of what the article says.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm so glad you're joining us for today's Explainer because we are diving into a massive fundamental shift happening right now in South African travel. If you've been keeping an eye on the travel space, you know something big is brewing for 2026. We're going to break
This is just one of the tools that you can use in the studio here in NotebookLM. So if I'm trying to do my research, I understand what this article is saying, I can actually just create my audio overview or my video overview and listen to it on my drive to work or anyway. It can help me create mind maps. It can create a slide deck for me. But really, as one of the I want to repeat what Kyla said as well. So this is a bit of the science that goes into your content creation, understanding your audience, understanding the topics that you're dealing with. What you could also do here, once you have, so I couldn't share with you here today. Once you have your YouTube channel or your other channels, you could put in, for instance, your analytics from your page into this, download them from your page, put them into NotebookLM, and start asking it, what are the trends that I'm finding from these analytics? What are the things I should be focusing on? Who is my target audience that I should be focusing on? And it will give you all of these insights, either through an audio overview or a video overview. So one thing is NotebookLM. Let me move on to our dear friend, Gemini. So, last week we created a gem for my page, the Backpack Hacker. So on my Gemini page, I'm going to come here. And I know there was some questions last week about where do you find gems on your phone. So on your phone, if it's not underneath the new chat function, you will see the settings function. If you go into settings, you should be able to find the gems tab. I'm going to go into my gem for today. I've created the one that I'm going to use the one that we used last week, my Backpack Hacker. And just thinking about the exercise that we've done today and what we've heard from Kyla today in relation to script writing, I'm going to put in a few prompts just to try to put some exercise to this. So first prompt. So remember, I must give my prompt a persona first. So you are a professional broadcast writer specializing in high retention YouTube scripts. Your goal is to write a script for a fast-paced explanatory video about affordable travel in South Africa that maintains over 60% retention in the 1 minute mark. So I'm very ambitious and I'm very specific. Remember the prompting. Persona, give it the task, be specific as you can, and let's see what it gives me. So it is, remember now, because we've created the custom gem, it has the personality and the persona of who my target audience is. If you joined last week's session, you remember that I prompted it to say, I'm targeting Gen Z and millennials. I'm targeting people who are looking for cheap travel within South Africa. These are people who might have debts and are still trying to find a way to be able to satisfy their wanderlust and find ways to be able to engage with you. So it's writing. And let's see what it comes up with. Let's give it a minute. Alrighty. So, and you see now it's responding to me because it knows, for instance, that my target audience is Gen Z and millennials. So we're ditching the traditional travel vlog type of format. Here's the script that it gives me. Gives me 3 different hooks. So it's giving me the hook, which is the anti-aesthetic hook, which kinds of validates the lack of money by attacking the luxury standards. Again, this was the persona that I gave it in the gym that I built. So here's the script that it's written for me. So 1,000 Rand Day survival guide in South Africa, and it's given me a few ideas about the various different hacks that I could use and the visuals that I can put in. But okay, this is cool, this is cute, but one of the things I also want to see, because I'm not quite sure if the script angle that it's given me is going to work. So maybe let me ask it to give me a number of different hooks that I can use, right? So I'm going to ask it, so based on this, generate 5 versions of the same script, utilizing the different psychology triggers, right? So a curiosity, maybe a confession, a provocative claim, a FOMO, or a social proof, right? And what I've asked, and I've just added this last part as I was listening to Kyla, I've asked it to also tag in my script the different elements where I'm going to have my hook, where I'm going to have my pattern interruptions, and where I'm going to have my payoffs. So let's see what it generates for me in terms of the different aspects of the script. So here it goes. So there's a curiosity. It gives me what the hook is from a curiosity point of view, what the setup is, what the pattern interruption could be, and then also what the emotional escalations and the payoffs are. So I've used Kyla's kind of framework to be able to build that. So maybe let's use the FOMO intro. Let's build out the FOMO intro. So let me type this out. So now write the full script from the Okay, so I'm going to ask it to write out. So I've chosen off the 5. I've gone through it and I'm like, I like the FOMO one. So let it continue to kind of build out the script for a little bit more for me on the FOMO script. I asked it at the end to let it edit. I just want to pull out a particular function that I want you to be able to see if it was going to do it, but it has not. But even if it doesn't, here's what I want you to be able to know about this, because also just based on what we've discussed today. So it has suggested a script for me, looks cute, looks all right. I might be interested in it. I come here. And this is where we use the function called Canva. And Canva is either going to pop out the document for you, or you can export this to docs. So let's do an export to docs so that you can have a look-see on what that functionality does. Export to docs, it has now created the doc, and I'm gonna stop sharing this page so that you can see the doc that it has created for me. Here it is. So this is generally what Canva would do. So the functionality from Gemini would generate a document for you so that you're now able to go in and edit the document. So generally, I'd like to remove all of that. But now this is where I need to come in and bring in my South African flavor. Look at the languaging. Does it make sense? Is it something, is somebody going to, okay, so the visual is the green screen, but does this actually make sense? The audio, if I'm waiting to save 20,000 rands, maybe I want to say 10,000 rands, or maybe I want to say 20,000, but 10,000 bucks. I want to use a little bit more euphemisms, use more some South African content and be a little bit more specific in that manner. This is how now I've taken the idea that AI has given me and what I've been able to generate with all of my prompts. I've now moved it into a document that is my own to now engage and make sure I'm adding a little bit more of my creative flavor into. And really, those are the tools I wanted to show you today. And yeah, thanks, guys. I'm hoping if you have any questions, please also continue to add them on the specifics of using these tools so that we can provide you a little bit more information. All right, back to you, Ilana.
Thank you so much, Sipho. Can we please get a round of applause going, as well as some hearts showing some love to Sipho. Sipho, I don't know if you saw, but you have been named our headmaster. So shout out to Sipho, our headmaster. I don't know if it's just me or if today's session just feels like it is really flying by. I cannot believe that we are down to about 10 minutes left. Okay, we have got our content part session down, and you know what that means. It is now time to introduce our creators challenge for today. Kyla, please let us know what is up with our challenge today.
Thank you. I'm super excited about this. It's pretty much everything that we have spoken about. So the challenge is using Gemini to engineer a high retention video script. So all you need to do is share your video idea or topic with Gemini and ask it to build you a script structure that includes a very specific re-engagement moment that's going to prevent viewers from dropping off. So firstly, ask Gemini to write 3 versions of your video intro and then choose one that creates the strongest tension or curiosity that you feel is going to work best for your idea. And then you're going to save that chosen script or that chosen idea onto a Google Doc and you must save that under your creation challenge folder, under your name, under the session 2 folder. So Google Doc, create a challenge, under your name, under session 2. So I'm super excited to see what you guys create. So back to you, Yolanda.
Perfect. Short, sweet, straight to the point. Okay, it seems like we do have a bit of time for questions. We have just 5 minutes. So let's get into our Q&A session. Last week, we did have a lot of amazing questions that were popping up during our Q&A, even on our chats as well. Today, please, can we bring back that same energy, that same curiosity, and use that Q&A function that we have here in our meeting tools icon rather, that's found at the bottom of the screen. And I'm going to pick out some goodies that we can ask our lovely panelists. All right, let's see what we have. Remember to vote. Put a thumbs up on the question that you feel most resonates with you, and then we can answer those questions hopefully as quickly as possible. All right, the top question that I'm seeing here. You said the first 3 to 8 seconds determine whether viewers stay. Have you found that principle changes depending on the platform, like YouTube versus TikTok or Instagram? Kyla, this one is for you.
Ooh, that's a super interesting question. I would say it's the same per platform, and it sounds really funny, but our attention span has shrunk so much in the digital age. So I feel like the first 3 to 8 seconds are still incredibly important regardless of the platform, but the hook might look slightly different depending on the platform. So I think that is all down to the idea that you have. And also, if you are unsure about what is going to work for your audience, do a little bit of research before you start diving into potential hooks, just to understand like the type of content that your audience is actually resonating with. That will help you determine the type of hook per platform, as well as how long that hook should actually be. But generally, every platform needs a strong hook.
Great, thank you. Miss Padiachi, this question belongs to you. We have a question that says, how much for the part in copyrights that one would need to pay? So if I am looking to copyright my work, roughly what are the numbers that I'm looking at? I know it might not be very easy to pinpoint, but roughly, what are we looking at there? Ms. Shendri, are you with us? Okay, we're going to move on swiftly because of time. We're just going to do one last question. We have a question here for you, Sipho. It says on Gemini, there's those functions where you choose the type of search you're doing. For our current program, which one do we choose? Please unmute yourself, Sipho.
Yeah. No, so the question is the kind of search that we're doing.
Yes, on Gemini, it says there's those functions where you choose the type of search you're doing. For our current program, which one do we choose?
So there's 5 different versions that you will get. DeepThink is mostly for research. We don't have to do that. Or Extended. Extended is for problem solving. We can use Flash or Pro. Once you get access to the voucher, if you only have the free version, you only have Flash or Flashlight. Once we've upgraded your account, you'll get Pro. Pro is better because it gives you better responses and kind of well thought out responses in terms of the output that the tool gives you. But even Flash is pretty good. But I think once you have access to Pro, make sure you do use Pro for your responses.
Okay, great. Thank you. And that will unfortunately wrap up our Q&A session for tonight because of time. At least we did get some questions answered. Thank you so much, Ms. Shendri. Thank you, Kyla. Thank you, Sipho, for so much insight. So much insight. And I hope that everyone here took that and is placing a lot of value in it and is going to really incorporate all of that into our content moving forward. So big round of applause, many hearts to the 3 of you. Okay, we are saying goodbye very, very soon. But before we do that, I just want to go through a few things quickly. So let's talk about our voucher, right? If you have attended the very first masterclass, so that was last week, Thursday, or rather completed the recording, if you missed that class, if you have completed the quiz and you've completed the survey, that means you are on track to receive your AI Plus voucher. How you will know if you have this voucher or not is that by close of business on Wednesday, so that's tomorrow, you will have received an email that will include a 16-digit code. So keep your eyes out for this code in your email before the end of the close of business, rather, tomorrow, right? If you do need help with fixing that, sorting all of that out and getting your voucher going, there is a step-by-step instructional video that will guide you, as well as a guide. So you shouldn't be lost. And should you be lost for whatever reason, do engage with our office hours that we have introduced. Remember, we do have office hours going on Thursday, 1 hour session in the morning and 1 hour session around lunchtime. So should you have any questions that you need answered or anything that you need help with, see you guys on Thursday in our office hours. Okay, cool. Guys, quickly, just to go through this, the voucher is provided only for the use of us to upgrade from Gemini to Google AI plus rather. Okay, that's what it's for. To use it for anything other than that will be considered fraudulent behavior. It is for our session, our program rather. So yes, please, if you're not eligible for an AI plus voucher, that doesn't mean you're not here with us, you're not part of our team anymore. You are still part of this program, you are still able to be with us, and you will still remain eligible to graduate at the end of this. Okay, so we're not leaving you out, you're here, you're with us, it's still gang, it's still love. Okay, and then a quick reminder, we all know with our subscriptions, how they work, guys, right? We are fully aware after some time, a subscription must end, or rather we must close our subscription. So please, once this program is over, cancel your subscription if you do not intend on using it further. If it does continue to run over and you don't cancel it, we as Special Effects Media will not be held responsible for any subscription charges incurred after that. Okay. Are we clear? 6 hours on my subscription, guys, please do not forget about that. All right, that unfortunately brings us to the end of our session for tonight. It has been another absolutely amazing session, so much content, and I cannot believe we actually managed to get through all of that. 3 beautiful speakers that taught us so many things in the space of just an hour. That was amazing. Thank you guys for being with us. I cannot wait to see you next week. Oh, not next week, on Thursday. I can't wait to see you on Thursday. Please don't forget to do your challenge. Do not forget to do your challenge, and look out on your WhatsApp for the links to the office hours on Thursday. Please remember the FAQ document. If you get stuck along the way, you'll find that a lot of the answers you're looking for rather are in that document. Don't forget that for the voucher, to use the voucher, we do have a guide there for you. You shouldn't get lost, you shouldn't get stuck. And should you at any point want a quick refresher, quick reminder of what we're working with, do refer to our weekly schedule. It's all there for you to make use of. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That is our session 2 wrapped. We will see you all on Bo, I forgot to get a pulse check quickly before we say goodbye. How is everyone feeling about today's session? Our emojis. Are we happy? Are we good? I absolutely loved our speakers for this evening. I think that they were amazing. Amazeballs. Awesome. Happy. That's great. Okay, now I can officially say good night. Good night, everybody.